Hey, this is Ben Solomon, and welcome to this episode of the Techno Leadership Show. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the leadership challenges for technology leaders in legacy businesses. So, what do I mean by legacy businesses? These are businesses in industries that are very slow moving, as well as businesses that have been in business for over 40 years. In a lot of these sort of businesses, there are a range of challenges that affect technology professionals. Some of the challenges come from antiquated systems and processes. Others come from infrastructure that is antiquated but still needs to be there to be able to provide the information and everything that's required. At the same time, they are expensive to keep running and expensive to migrate to newer systems. I understand the complexities that exist from legacy systems trying to modernize it, which is where you have a lot of businesses trying to still keep the legacy systems running and then having some form of front end that is more user-friendly and modern while pulling the data and information from these older systems. But at some point, we'll have to make sure we get off the legacy systems because, one, supporting them is becoming more and more expensive. We don't have as much talent that understands and knows how to utilize those systems. All of this is going to be a significant risk to the business in the future. At the moment, yes, you're traveling along, but in the future, it could be something that causes massive headaches. So no matter how much the expense and the difficulties might be in moving the back-end legacy systems, we need to find ways to progressively, even if it means modularly doing bits of it at a time, start moving things across to more modern systems, which means we can finally turn off legacy systems and work on modernized systems. And with modern systems, if you keep on top of things, you can then continue to keep it updated and upgraded so that you don't accumulate more tech debt. So there's a lot of things that we have to consider when it comes to these aspects. One, your governance frameworks might be too old school, which means you need to modernize that to allow for more agile technology implementations, technology support, and the business agility as well. So this involves a lot of working with your executive teams as well as potentially with the board of the organization to help them understand the risks that the business could potentially be under if we don't make those changes and if we don't get on to more modern platforms. Yes, it might mean lower profit for a period of time because you are making these big changes that need significant investments. But if you don't do that now and other businesses come in the same industry and start now with the latest innovative platforms and systems, they will gain a significant edge over you in the marketplace, which then could put the business in jeopardy. So you've got to think about all of these aspects. And then if you're constrained to working in buildings, and those buildings, are 30, 40, 50 more years old, they were not designed with wireless networks in mind. They were not designed with, the ability to have enough even data cables and all that in there. And sometimes you might be, working in a business that's in a building that's heritage listed, which makes it even more complex. It's, from my experience, at least 3 times more expensive to get data cabling and all that done in a building that is heritage listed. So all of these things we've got to think about when working in older businesses, legacy businesses that are in older buildings, older infrastructure, technology infrastructure, as well as physical infrastructure. So these are all challenges, and they're frustrating challenges as well. But which is where businesses need to understand that CIOs, director of technologies, technology manager, whoever is the highest technology leader in the organization needs to be working directly with the CEO, reporting to the CEO on the business impact of the technology or the lack thereof, and how we can bridge the gap to bring it to current status and help the business have a competitive edge in the marketplace. And as long as businesses don't understand the criticality of having a technology leader working directly with the CEO so that you can base everything that you do on the business's vision, it's a very difficult environment to be in. It's hugely challenging, because if you're working under a CFO or financial controller, everything that they look at is based on right in front of them, what is the cost. They don't look at, what potentially could be the impact. They're looking at it from, but this year's budget, we have to have it in this state to have this much profit margin or whatever it might be, rather than looking, okay, we might go in the red for a couple of years, but it means we catch up and then we can innovatively grow in future years. It's very difficult for them to see. And if you're working under a operations person, a COO or director of operations, whatever it might be, they're thinking of everything that you do as a technology team in the form of operational efficiencies and operations, not in the form of innovation, not in the form of being able to, pay off tech debt and be able to give that innovative edge. So you need to be working with the CEO in some form, hopefully directly, because that way you have a direct reporting line where you can talk to them and say, these are the challenges we're facing, and this is the roadmap that we have in place that will help us get that competitive edge in the marketplace. And bringing everything back to business terms and saying, your vision for the business is here, and we need to have all these things in place from a technology platform standpoint to be able to help you achieve that vision up there. So, as difficult as it is, we need to push for working directly with CEOs in our businesses so that we can be more effective and actually get things done. And at the same time, from our standpoint, we need to build up our business acumen to be able to match the business's need with the technology and the solutions that we provide as well. So hopefully that helps you out, gives you some ideas of how to work with certain people and to, work with legacy businesses and the challenges that are in legacy businesses to still achieve the outcomes that you're tasked with. I wish you all the best in your journey as a tech professional, manager, and leader. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button so that you're notified of future episodes as they're released. I look forward to talking to you in a future episode.